morning, everyone, and welcome to our Global Hydrogen Full Court Press interview series, where we take a deeper dive into the hydrogen market here in the Middle East, as well as globally, really pull back the layers of the buzzwords that we're hearing and dive into the challenges and opportunities in this space. I'm joined here today with our distinguished guest, Professor 𝗪𝗻𝗿, who's the director of the Oman Hydrogen Center. It's played a pivotal role in Oman of bringing this collaboration together around hydrogen, and it has a massive amount of expertise in this space. Thank you, Professor 𝗪𝗻𝗿, for joining us today on the show.
It's a pleasure to be with you, and it's an honor for me to be asked by you to make my comments to the hydrogen development. Yeah, I really like to do. Because as the Oman Hydrogen Center, one of our pillar is to spread information about the hydrogen, to make everyone aware about the challenges, about the needs, about things how to do and how to change the mind to be best prepared for the future. So I will take this as a chance to work in the sense of our first pillar.
And just to dive a bit deeper into that for our viewers and listeners who aren't aware, can you just give a brief background of the Oman Hydrogen Center, when it was founded, what the overall goal of the center is, and of course, how you see that fitting into Oman's future energy portfolio?
I try to make it short. It's difficult for me, but I try.
Taking on a massive challenge, but
it was like this around 2 years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Geotech, the university, was approached by a small German company which was thinking about application and production of hydrogen in the GCC in general. And they wanted to be informed about the border conditions in the Oman. So you have to know that I'm involved in hydrogen in principle in the field of research about more than 20 years. I did a lot of industrial and academic projects financed by European Union. So they asked me about my opinion. And so then I was really fascinated by the idea. And we discussed a lot of time. And then we decided, okay, this is really a good challenge for Oman to make a change in the energy and production sector. And we have to start to accelerate Oman towards this. And the best way to do is to make something like a conference. This was the first idea. So we created the Oman Hydrogen Initiative. This was a platform to organize a conference. The company is the 𝗪𝗺𝗻𝗿. They are still really very, very active in Oman. From my opinion, it's the most active company in Oman at all. And with the geotech. So, and we expected around 30, 40 people who are interested to the subject. Actually, at the end, we were something like 150 or 170. And we had to close the application form because we run out of space. And it was really a big resonance in not only in the Oman society, in people from other countries as well. So we had there from Korea, Japan, from Germany, from Abu Dhabi, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we saw the resonance, and then after some discussions, I thought it is a moment to create something like a nucleus from the academic viewpoint, not from the industry, academic viewpoint, which support Oman in the development which is necessary to become a hydrogen society. And this was the moment we decided to create the Oman Hydrogen Center. With the 3 pillars, which I mentioned already before. This is education, this is information, this is research, and this is supply of the industry. Unluckily, the celebration of the inauguration of the center was just at the time when we had the problem with the corona. And actually, we lost 1 year because during this year, everything was blocked. You remember. Luckily, these times are now history, bad history. And now when I observe the situation from the viewpoint of the hydrogen center, then I see things are accelerating. So I'm becoming more and more optimistic that Oman will develop in reasonable short time to the situation which we all would like to have. So this is the story of the hydrogen center.
And
is
now,
it enough?
Yeah, of course. And so we look at Oman and its current situation, still heavily dependent on oil and gas revenue. Of course, employment opportunities are always a challenge in trying to provide more jobs, let's say, to Omanis, and of course the local economy. How do you see hydrogen being an accelerant for Oman's economy, creating jobs, diversifying its energy portfolio? How viable do you see that in Oman's future? And what do you think the appetite is for creating this space there?
Yeah. Let me elaborate this topic in my way. So the chance for Oman. For sure, one chance is the development of a new industry. I mean, in a certain sense, Oman is experienced in energy, so to providing the world with the energy carrier. And the second aspect is Oman is experienced in processing gas, because Oman is exporting natural gas. So good starting condition to discuss about hydrogen in Oman. And when you think about the consequences of the full application of hydrogen in Oman, then you see that we have the chance to create something like a new industry which for sure is needing expertise in the field of the application of hydrogen. And this is the approach we have to keep in mind. It's not like switching from sweet water to salty water. It's switching to a complete different world. And this gives a big chance that Oman can develop its own industry, which is related with the production of hydrogen, right? So Oman should be the knowledge holder, one of the knowledge holder in the world in this technology. And the other aspect, that it gives a chance to create a new industry in the application of the hydrogen. To give an example, we are discussing about green steel. You know that steel, the production of steel is one of the most significant technology which contributes to the emission.
The best way to export hydrogen, right? Green steel, as opposed to directly exporting hydrogen itself, for example.
You open another war.
But go on, sorry.
No, what I just want to tell. So Oman has a chance to create green steel industry, which in a certain sense is similar to the actual gray steel, but it involves new technology, needs new knowledge, and this knowledge can create it in Oman as one of the unique places in the world where this kind of product is produced. So what I want to explain is Oman has the big chance to develop the industry in Oman in two directions. One direction is producing hydrogen, and the other aspect is to utilize hydrogen in the Oman industry, which creates new jobs. So then to come back to your comment, how to export hydrogen. Now go to the basic question. Go to the basic question. Oman is able to produce the green hydrogen, what to do with the green hydrogen. And there are two ways. One way is to utilize it in Oman to become a green nation, to get rid of the emission of CO2 by exchanging oil and gas by hydrogen. This is one big challenge for Oman. And you know that from the specific value, Oman is one of the most dominant source for CO2 in the world. It's not China, it's not America, it's Oman. Can you imagine? So, and if Oman wants to contribute to the Paris contract, then Oman has to do something in this field, and the hydrogen gives a big chance. The other point is Oman has a chance to set up a huge export industry with hydrogen. There is an incredible need in the technical developed countries like Europe, like Japan, like Korea, and so on and so far, to be provided with a hydrogen, with a green hydrogen. And Oman is one of the unique countries with the best precondition to produce. So Oman has a chance to create an export industry which is much larger than oil and gas. Forget oil and gas in the future. Now we have to focus on the hydrogen, and this gives the other chance. And this is the other application, the second application of hydrogen in Oman.
Are you seeing the full, because it seems like a massive opportunity for Oman. Are you seeing the full buy-in from stakeholders in Oman, from industry to government and so forth, to push everything forward at a rapid pace?
Yeah, for sure. The people who are deeply involved in the discussion about hydrogen and which are involved in the energy and production technology matters, they know about these two positions. Actually, the discussion about on what should Oman focus has just started. And you know, the Omani way to approach a topic like this is not as brutal as, for instance, in Germany. You awake today and you see a problem and you make a decision yesterday about it.
Yeah. And
the approach of Oman is a little bit different, which resides in sustainable decisions. So these both aspects are discussed right now, or the discussion has to be started. And I'm pretty sure, this is my personal opinion, what will be realized in the Oman in the next step are plants which provide hydrogen for the application in Oman.
Right.
This is the first step, because it doesn't make sense to export as kind of business some cubic meter of hydrogen to Germany. So when export, then we are talking about millions of cubic meter, and this needs big industry in Oman.
Right. And when you know, of course, that first step is focusing on Oman. Do you see opening up to the region as the next step? You know, as you mentioned, there's so many unique selling points for hydrogen production, you know, and export in Oman. But at the same time, we see headlines every day in the UAE, you know, around this space, in Saudi Arabia. I think Kuwait's involved through partnerships in one way. Where do you see Oman fitting into that regional jigsaw puzzle? Or do you think that's too over the horizon for them to think about at the moment?
Yeah, actually, you should know better than me, because you are responsible for these headlines in the news. Yeah. To say it in my way, so actually, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, then countries like Morocco, and so on and so forth, they are much faster than Oman. So they are not discussing, they are realizing. And
I think Morocco has a national vision and strategy on hydrogen at the moment.
And I think in 2030, they want to cover 50% of their electricity by renewables, which is really, it's great. Oman is far, far away from this. So when I make a ranking then about the activities regarding the production of hydrogen, that having hydrogen on place, then Saudi Arabia, UAE is on the top, and Oman is on the bottom. So Oman has just started to realize the production that means to produce hydrogen. But I'm pretty sure it's the same as with the oil and gas. Oman has a chance to accelerate and to get on the same level as the UAE and the Saudi Arabia. I have no doubts, because the preconditions, that means the conditions to produce a hydrogen, are the best in Oman. So we have 2,000 kilometers of coastline, so water enough, huge areas close to civilized parts of Oman, where you can construct big plants to utilize the sun energy. Oman is the society is well educated. They have a feeling of the technology. So I think Oman is a good place. And there is another aspect. Don't forget, Oman is said to be the Swiss of the MENA area. Yeah. And there's a good reason to say the Swiss. And I mean, I'm not a businessman, but when I imagine that I want to make a contract with a country which should provide me with hydrogen, then I want to have a safe country, right?
And neutral in that stance.
Because I'm depending on the energy, and to make a contract with Oman is comparable to make a contract with Switzerland. So good argument.
And when you mentioned, also in terms of industry and business, you mentioned that academia, and spent so much time doing research. Academia might be a little bit farther ahead in terms of knowing the benefits and opportunities around this space. As we speak to some of our stakeholders, large and small, a lot of it seems to still be in the ABCs of understanding what hydrogen is, how it's produced, and so forth. Are you seeing that as well? Do you think that there needs to be more of a push to educate the industry? And also, if I'm industry, I know I need to be a part of this opportunity. What do you suggest is the first recommendation or step to get involved, in a sense? If I'm an independent energy company looking to be a part of the hydrogen market?
Yeah, there is, as you said, there is a need of becoming aware about the specific nature of the hydrogen in all aspects. And there are actions right now in Oman to start to spread this knowledge. So Geotech is involved. In a couple of days, we start an educational project supported by Shell, interestingly, by Shell, oil and gas.
Great.
But they are looking forward into the future, where we're talking about renewable energies and all the methods around it. And students and professionals are attending. And with this kind of activities, I think we create a base knowledge in the society, which will multiply in a certain sense. And this is what I recommend to the industry, to screening the own staff who is familiar with the topic. And when you go to oil and gas, I mean, they know about the hydrogen because they use hydrogen in the production of polymers and in the production of gas and so on so far. They are not ignorant, not at all. And I'm pretty sure all these people who are thinking about this, they know how to produce, but it has to be spread in the society. And additionally, a country like Oman and the other countries should be aware about the chances to utilize knowledge and activities from abroad.
Right.
So the countries from European Union, they are keen to be active in the GCC to demonstrate that there are.
I was just going to ask you the importance of GCC countries establishing international partnerships. I believe the German Energy Agency has been at least communicating in initial stages with PDO and Oman and some stakeholders around hydrogen. Yeah. How critical is it to go for these countries specifically to go out and seek these partnerships in terms of the knowledge, the know-how, and the technical expertise in this area?
I would tell you, in principle, the problem is the same as it has been in the very past with the oil and the gas. So the principal problem can't be solved by one country. It needs cooperation. Right. And when you have a look on in the moment on the technical development level in the different countries, then you can say, yes, the European countries are in the moment ahead on technology of electrolyzers. Japan, Korea as well. And the GCC countries are at the down end of this development. So it needs right now a strong cooperation to get the input from the technology holders from Europe, from other countries, to settle this kind of industry, but then to participate in the right way, to don't make the mistake as in the past to let foreign countries work and being active in the GCC. No, the GCC partners have to be real partners in terms to participate, to develop their own knowledge and technology. And from this viewpoint, the viewpoint means to start as soon as possible with the technical application of the hydrogen. It is an urgent need to cooperate as close as possible with the countries who are from the viewpoint of technology and application of the hydrogen a little bit ahead of the GCC. It's absolutely not necessary. If we don't do, then we are lost.
Right now, at the moment, just on a side question, are there degrees being developed specifically for hydrogen specialties within GTech or universities in Oman? Are you seeing that space? Is that even an opportunity? Or I always see sustainability, bachelors in this and that, but in terms of specialties.
I listen from time to time discussions about this in Oman. And people like to be creative and like to say, yes, we need a master or we need a bachelor in hydrogen. Rubbish. Hydrogen is part of an energy and production system. So what we need are people who are educated in energy, because at the end we have interconnection between the hydrogen. We will still have oil and gas in the future. This will not be zero. Yeah. So we have something like this. We have the sun energy. Some people think about nuclear energy. So it's a system which is created by different topics, but the topics are interconnected. And if you are dealing with one of the topics and you are not informed about the whole system, then you are an ignorant. You are good for nothing. So it's better to have an overall understanding of the energy ecosystem. Energy. And how hydrogen can plug into that as a solution. Exactly.
For meeting demand.
Exactly.
So I think we're coming up close to 20 minutes out to wrap up with the interview, but I just wanted to get your over the horizon, let's say 5-year view of where you think the hydrogen economy, hydrogen market will be in the Middle East in the near future, and what you think are the targets and the KPIs that we're trying to reach in 5 years that you would call, okay, we've been successful at this moment in time.
Yes. To give the answer, we have to look on the level of development on the electrolyzer technology. And in the moment we are talking about devices which are good for a couple of 100 megawatt power, electrical power to apply. So when we have a look on the energy plant, then it's rather small. And this is what we can realize in the moment with reasonable effort. So my expectation is within the next 5 years, we will have all over the GCC a couple of these 100 megawatt plants, and the hydrogen will be utilized either in isolated processes or together with gray or blue hydrogen in processes. We will realize the export of hydrogen from here, from the GCC to Europe or to countries on the other side of the world to test, to train, to find the best method. But it will not be the same as we have in the moment with the carbon oil and the carbon gas, which is, how to say, a process like using a bus to go from A to B. So this kind of system has to be developed, and within the next 5 years, we will be at the stage to see what is the best way to ship hydrogen to the end user. And then within the 5 years, we will prepare for the next step, and this is we will start to cross the gigawatt border. Which will change the system completely, because then we are talking about huge amounts of hydrogen which will be produced. And at that point, we have to clarify how to store the hydrogen, either for utilization or for export. And these are questions which will be attacked within the next 5 years, and which will be solved within the next 10 years. So next 5 years, we are talking about a couple of 100 megawatt plants, really nice plants. And then after that, we have the gigawatt, and we can set up the whole system. So I believe within the 10 years, then we will see in the different countries the first realization of a hydrogen society. That means interconnected system for the hydrogen.
Well, thank you, Professor 𝗪𝗏, for taking the time. Appreciate your insights, and our viewers and stakeholders who are listening, of course, appreciate your insights as well. For all those listening right now, please feel free to follow the Oman Hydrogen Center online. There's a website set up as well. Of course, I believe that there's a summit that's coming up too for hydrogen in that area as well.
In the end of November, we have the Green Hydrogen Summit. We are in the preparation. It will become an international summit, focused on Oman for sure. And interestingly, we decided to have a physical conference. So the focus is on having
it's good to get back to normal.
A real conference. For sure, there will be people who are not able to attend. They have the online possibility, but I'm really excited to join again after nearly 2 years, a real conference where I can see the speaker in front of me and not on the boring screen.
Yeah, I think everyone feels the same. So everyone listening as well, feel free to follow the summit, follow the Oman Hydrogen Center on social media. Thank you again, Professor 𝗪𝗏. I appreciate your time and really your insights today.
It was a pleasure for me I hope I helped you, and thank you for your interest in questions and for your comments, and cross the finger for the future of the hydrogen, which is related with your future and with my future as well.